Have you ever really thought about why cats seem to have such a developed sixth sense? Why do so many people feel a deep spiritual connection with these enigmatic felines? There is something magical in their behavior, in their silences, and in their ability to perceive what we often cannot see. But this bond that unites man and cat has ancient roots, and one of the most beloved saints in history, St. Francis of Assisi, the protector of animals, knew secrets that few of us imagine. According to lesser-known legends, St. Francis left predictions and teachings intended for those who live with cats, creatures that he considered special in their relationship with the invisible. Could there be a deeper spiritual reason behind the presence of a cat in your life? Perhaps our feline friends are not simply pets, but spiritual guides, messengers who cross the subtle boundaries of the spiritual world with the physical one. An ancient tale, jealously preserved by the Franciscan friars, narrates one of the most fascinating miracles performed by St. Francis. On a cold winter night, the streets of Assisi were deserted, shrouded in silence and frost. The stars shone high in the sky, but the air was heavy with melancholy, as if a heavy shadow enveloped the entire village. The inhabitants lived in fear, with their crops wilting and a feeling of bad luck that seemed to hover over everything. At the center of this malaise, there was a lonely and sick creature, a cat, which the villagers believed to be cursed. Ever since the feline had appeared, everything seemed to be going wrong, and so they avoided him, fearing his presence as if he brought with him a dark destiny. But that night, in a scenario where superstition reigned, St. Francis of Assisi walked alone through the fields in deep meditation and prayer. The cold did not bother him. His heart was warmed by faith and compassion. Suddenly, as his path took him among the trees, a muffled moan reached his ears. It was a faint sound, almost a whisper in the night, but to Francis it was unmistakable. It was the call of a creature in pain. He followed that sound until, under an old, centuries-old tree, he saw the cat. Curled up among the roots, the poor animal seemed ready to succumb to frost and disease. Its eyes were dull, and its trembling body showed signs of a life of suffering. However, Francis did not see in him what others saw. There was no curse, no darkness in that cat. The saint perceived something else, a victim of the fears and distorted beliefs of the village. Francis approached slowly, kneeling before the cat as he would before any creature of God. With infinite sweetness, he placed his hands on the animal's head, whose breathing was now weak and irregular. He began to pray in a low voice. His words were whispered, almost imperceptible, but charged with such a deep faith that it seemed to vibrate in the air. Witnesses, hidden behind the trees, said that a golden light began to radiate from Francis's hands, enveloping the cat in a warm and luminous aura. Time seemed to stop. The stars in the sky shone even more intensely, as if the entire universe was witnessing that sacred moment. The miracle unfolded before the incredulous eyes of the onlookers. The cat, who seemed destined to die, slowly began to move. First, he raised his head, and then his eyes filled with new life. His fur, once dull and ragged, began to shine under the moonlight. With a serene smile, Francis whispered to him, "You are a creature of God, worthy of love. Rise and walk, for divine grace has reached you." To the amazement of those present, the cat stood up slowly at first, then with more force. His body, which only a short time before had been sick and frail, now seemed full of vitality. He stretched, took a few steps, and then ran away into the fields, free from the pain and illness that had tormented him. The next day, the village awoke to a new light. The fields, which until then had been barren and dry, began to bloom. The air, which had been thick with melancholy, now vibrated with a renewed joy. The villagers, who had feared and blamed the cat as a bringer of bad luck, began to see it in a new light. The animal, now considered a sign of blessing, roamed the village, bringing prosperity and peace wherever it went. St. Francis, when asked what had happened, smiled humbly and said, It was not I, but the hand of God that acted through that little creature. From that moment on, the cat was no longer seen as a bearer of curse, but as a symbol of hope, healing, and blessing. The miracle of that night changed not only the life of the animal, but also that of the entire village. Fear turned into faith, superstition into love, and sadness into joy. This ancient tale reminds us all that even in the smallest creatures and the most difficult situations, there is always the possibility of rebirth and transformation. St. Francis teaches that every living being is worthy of love and compassion, and that in healing others we can also heal ourselves. But what did he predict for those who live with cats? The saint not only saw cats as creatures worthy of love, but also considered them to be carriers of divine messages. One of the most fascinating predictions related to St. Francis concerns the lunar cycle, particularly when the full moon appears 3 times in the same month. If in this rare event your cat meows at dawn, it is said to be announcing a period of spiritual renewal. His meow, at this precise moment, is not random, but a message that brings with it an imminent transformation. This special phenomenon symbolizes a deep alignment of the body with the mind and spirit, indicating that it is the ideal time to look inside yourself and reflect on your life. The cat, in these circumstances, becomes a true spiritual signal. Its behavior is an invitation to stop, become aware, and prepare for a positive change that could come into your existence. If you are lucky enough to live with a cat and notice this sign, it may be a good time to take a break and meditate on what is happening inside you and around you. This is a call to renew your spirit and open yourself to new opportunities for personal and spiritual growth. Another fascinating revelation attributed to St. Francis concerns what happens at 3 in the morning, a time known as the Hour of Souls. According to spiritual tradition, this is a phase in which the boundary separating the physical world from the spiritual world becomes extremely thin, creating a sort of passage between the 2 planes. At this time, spiritual energies are particularly active and present, ready to interact with our world. St. Francis believed that during this special hour, cat sensitivity was especially heightened. If your cat, who may usually be active or meowing during the night, remains strangely silent and calm at 3 in the morning, this could be a significant sign. His silence during this spiritually charged time could be an invitation for you to connect with the divine, to take a moment to pray, or to seek guidance and comfort from higher energies. The silence of the cat at 3 in the morning could also foretell an angelic or spiritual visit. In this state of quiet, it is as if your cat is sensing the presence of beneficial energies, protecting you or acting as an intermediary between you and the spiritual world. St. Francis saw cats not only as observers, but as true guides, capable of helping us connect with what goes beyond the visible. So in those moments of profound silence at 3 in the morning, listen carefully. It could be a sign that something sacred is about to manifest in your life. The saint also attributed a mystical meaning to the movements of these extraordinary felines. A particular example is the one linked to the 7th day of each season. If on this day you observe your cat walking in a circle, it is not just a casual gesture. According to tradition, the cat is symbolically drawing the sign of eternity, representing the continuous cycle of life, death, and rebirth. This circular movement recalls the concept of infinity, a cycle that has no beginning or end. Every time your cat performs this action, it is an invitation to stop and reflect. It is reminding you that life is a continuous flow in which every end leads to a new beginning. It is a signal to meditate on your spiritual path and the profound meaning of your existence, helping you to recognize that even difficult moments are part of this natural cycle of transformation and rebirth. But cats are not only messengers of the divine, they are also guardians. St. Francis believed that they had the ability to protect people from negative energies, being able to perceive what our senses cannot perceive. Thanks to their sensitivity, cats can sense the presence of adverse influences or negative spirits. If you notice your cat behaving in an unusual way, such as staring intently at an empty spot or reacting to something invisible, this could be a sign that he is protecting you and your home. His behavior could indicate that he is seeing, or more precisely, sensing energies that you cannot detect. In these moments, St. Francis advised to remain calm and not to be afraid. Instead of giving in to fear, you could recite a prayer of protection to purify the environment from negative energies. Your cat, according to St. Francis, acts for you as an intermediary with the invisible world, protecting you and helping you maintain a serene and positive spiritual environment. These prophecies and teachings remind us that the presence of cats in our lives may be much more than a coincidence. Cats, according to St. Francis, are spiritual companions, capable of helping us find balance, protection, and healing. If you own a cat, take a moment to reflect on what your feline friend may be revealing to you, and how their presence can guide you on your path to greater spiritual awareness. Finally, St. Francis taught us all that every creature deserves love and healing, just like the cat in the Miracle of Assisi. The message of hope and renewal that St. Francis left to humanity through his interactions with the animal world continues to inspire and remind us of the importance of living in harmony with the world and natural creation. What about you? Have you ever noticed your cat behaving strangely during particular moments of the day or night? Have you felt that deep, almost mystical connection that seems to unite you to him? Maybe he is trying to communicate something bigger, a hidden message or an invisible protection. If you have had similar experiences, or if your cat has done actions that have made you think, tell us in the comments. We are curious to know your stories, your experiences, and to discover together what your felines could reveal to you. We thank you so much for watching this video. If this content has inspired you, we ask you to give us your precious like and subscribe to the Mental Dose channel for other content on wisdom and spirituality. Your support is essential for us. Also, share it with anyone you think could benefit from it. See you in the next